seconds. I'm trying to boot some stuff up really quick. Um, okay, well, while that's doing that, hi everybody, Black Crystal Cosplay here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Monday. Mondays tend to be the downer day of the week. Um, yeah, the chat is gonna go off and popping and everything. So if you have any comments or questions or just anything you kind of just want to add or any points that you would like me to touch on, let me know. I'm kind of going with this off the top of my head because I believe in letting things naturally flow when I'm speaking. So for those of you who've seen the title of the panel I'll be doing today, it's going to touch on balancing content creation and mental health. A lot of people feel like we talk about mental health enough as far as being a content creator is concerned, but I don't think that we touch on the topic quite enough. It's a very serious thing. I have conversations like this with my friends, like on a regular day-to-day basis, because it is important. There are outside factors in just being a content creator that can play a huge role on your mental health. So I hope today you guys are able to take a little bit of my perspective in regards to the topics surrounding mental health. Just a few pointers or key ideas to keep in mind when you feel like things are kind of going to crap in a bit. So I think how I'm gonna start this is just I'm gonna speak about how I navigate, I guess, as being a Black content creator, being Black on the regular, and then also just trying to keep my head screwed on tight. There's small factors that can screw up someone who is a content creator and everything. So I know for a fact that I have days like, well, one, let me just get this started. I work weekends, so I don't really get my weekends off to unwind and relax. I do it during the weekday, but during the weekday, I can't get in contact with friends and stuff because everybody's schedules are like very mixed up. Everyone either works Monday to Thursday on the days that I don't work. So oftentimes I feel a bit alone. And it used to weigh on me, but it no longer weighs on me because I find ways to cope with being alone on those days. And it kind of ties into how I do my content creation and different things involving creativity. Let's just say that. So basically, in the cosplay community, we see all the good positive things that happen for cosplayers, but then when it comes to Black cosplayers, it turns into kind of a negative thing sometimes because if you're on TikTok, you see people who are not so friendly. If you're on Instagram, you definitely see people who are not so friendly. When they see Black content creators, they do comment things like slurs and horrible names and why are you cosplaying as this character while being Black? Da 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 da. And that can weigh very heavily on you as a content creator. So when I see people share their stories and stuff online in regards to the horrible things that are said to them directly, I get kind of choked up a bit because I'm just like, dang, like Black content creators are really dope. Like this is our way to get away from all the craziness that goes on. Like, why do we have to keep dealing with that in and outside of content creation? So basically, my way of I'm going in circles. Let me get my head screwed on right. Sorry. I'm trying to get my computer booted up that had like most of my notes and stuff, and it's not working. So bear with me. Um, sorry, I'm trying to get this thing going. It's acting up, really acting up. And I wonder, is the chat popping off? Is there anybody in the chat? Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing situated and going here. All right. So let's go down the list. Let's go down the list here. Actually, I really wish I had my notepad and everything too to write this stuff down. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, y'all. This is another thing. This is I'm in very relaxed mode, so I'm all over the place. So bear with me. Um, there we go. All right, rewind. Blah, blah, blah. So, in regards to content creation and balancing mental health, so like I said, I'm going to speak about my story and how I realized that I also needed to take a step back from content creation and everything and focus on my mental health. So, those of you who know me, you guys know that I am who I am. I used to live in California. California didn't quite work out. Content creation is very big in California, and I couldn't keep up with it. So when I came back from California to kind of focus on myself a bit, everything kind of went downhill. Like I lost my grandmother. I lost both jobs that I had when I was in California. Um, my finances were like really bad, and some of the items that I had in California, I couldn't get them back as fast as I wanted to. So I kind of came back to Maryland to start completely over. And I didn't really necessarily know how horribly that weighed on my mental health as a content creator until I started forcing myself to make content, which is really a bad idea in a sense because if you're not mentally there when it comes to your content creation or at least like enjoying what you're doing, it's not going to bear great results at all. So I really just I just trying to I found myself like my content. And meanwhile my mental health was like, no, 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 like this is horrible. Like you can't make content because you're not mentally right. Like this is not okay. Like, no, like what are you doing? And it took for me to really just hit my lowest low for me to understand like how much of a dark place that I was in. So um when I was looking through my old Instagram posts and everything back during the time that I no longer lived in California or anything else, I I kept focusing like really heavily on the numbers and stuff too, which also plays a big major toll on my mental health or anyone else's mental health for that matter, because we all look at social media like, oh, we want to get these numbers, we want to be famous, we want to get this money, we want to get these sponsorships, but we have to be realistic when it comes to the expectations and standards that we set for our content. So I was looking at the numbers like heavily, like, I lost everything. This is all I have left. And that wasn't really a good coping tactic to have when dealing with my content. So since my numbers and everything were like getting like really blah, and my insights were blah, and my interactions and stuff on Instagram, especially on my Instagram cosplay page, was going blah. I started hating my content. Like I started having a little bit of self hate and stuff too in regards to myself as a content creator because I'm like, why can't I get my numbers and stuff up? Like, why? Like, out of all the bad stuff that's happened in my life, like, why is this the next thing that's happening now too? And it it was horrible. It was just so horrible, and I never spoke with anyone either about the bad things that I was going through. So I even felt even more isolated. Um, I'm saying all this to say that if you are a person who has been through some of the stuff that I have been through, or some of the stuff that I'm talking about right now, just know that there is a lot of people on the social media platform who do focus a lot on the numbers and who don't really pay attention to their mental health and everything when it comes to content creation, which can be really sucky. Like it we all go through it. Now, what I realized during that time when I hit my lowest low, I was just like, my coping mechanisms are basically gone. And as you all know, we're still in a pandemic. I'm going to say pandemic. We're still in a pandemic, so we can't go to conventions anymore. Like the outside areas are closed. Well, were closed off. They're trying to open up now, of course, because of the vaccinations. But everything started getting closed out. We couldn't really see friends or family anymore. Like, people around us were like losing their lives, unfortunately, due to COVID. All those things, like including what I said previously about what I was going through, kept piling up and piling up and piling up. And I just kept turning to my social media for the hope that I could get myself together mentally instead of realizing that, it is okay to take a step back and just relax and cope a little bit. It is okay for me to at least look up, some therapists in my area who do virtual counseling and therapy sessions because it was the time to buckle down and actually like focus on my mental health. Now that the pandemic has happened, now that I have the time to take a break from content creation and really understand like why do I feel the way that I feel and why there was that drive, that rush to jump in and get these numbers and stuff popping. So on the mental health aspect of my panel today, I think that a lot of content creators don't focus enough on their own mental health. You have people who can you have 50% of people who can jump out there and throw out content like there's no tomorrow. And maybe they do have a burnout, but you'll never see it behind closed doors. But that also doesn't mean that they don't have good coping mechanisms, and they might have good coping mechanisms that we may not know about. And then you have the other 50% of people who are busting out content but are burning out because of the fact that they don't have coping mechanisms and don't they use social media as that coping mechanism. I'm here to say do not use your social media as a coping mechanism. Like really it is okay to take a step back and it's okay to breathe, whether it's for one day, whether it's for a week, whether it's for a month, or any longer time period before that. I promise you, social media will always be there. And it's like there's this really unhealthy rush for people to get their numbers up and like chase that algorithm and do what they have to do. And it makes you burn out faster. It makes people not want to be on their social media and stuff like that anymore. It makes people resent social media. It makes them resent themselves as content creators, which is pretty sad, you know. And I was one of those people who were like, "Oh my god," and took it too hard on myself because of the fact that I didn't take a step back and not realizing that I didn't even set a personal boundary in regards to my mental health when it came to my platform. You know, I found myself constantly having to explain to my followers on Instagram, or my supporters rather. And I just kept saying like, "Sorry guys, I'm gonna put out content. Sorry, sorry, sorry." And eventually, some of the supporters that I have on there would just come forward through my DMs, and they'll just be like, "You don't have to explain every single time you're going on hiatus. Like, your mental health comes first." And it took at least I think 6 times for different people to tell me that, for me to really realize like, okay, yeah, you're right. I don't always have to explain that I'm going on a break or I'm going on a hiatus. I think it only varies if you have like a business or like people who have business pages, whether it's cosplay, gaming, Twitch streaming, podcasts, things like that. That aren't just necessarily within the anime and cosplay realm, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. And it's why is my I'm sorry, my computer is like it keeps going in and out. It is driving me crazy. All right, sorry, back on track. So yeah, if you are a business owner with your stuff, then it will be okay to be like, hey guys, quick announcement. You don't always have to go into detail about what it is 100% that you're going through, unless you feel comfortable enough doing that. If you don't feel comfortable talking about the things that you're going through mentally through a whole platform of people, that is perfectly fine. And you also don't have to feel bad if people don't understand that you're not mentally doing okay right now. Not everybody's going to get that, and that's why I always say like people don't take mental health serious enough because everybody thinks like if you're a content creator, you have to smile for other people. You always have to be in the mood. You always have to be happy. You always have to, do those things. And it's kind of unfair. And I did have people who would come into my DMs and be like, "What do you mean? Like, you haven't posted in this amount of weeks? Why are you burnt out? You don't do anything except cosplay." And it's like, whoa, hold on there. So I say all this to say that when it comes to your social media page, it is okay to take a step back. It is okay to take a break. It is okay to just take a breather and zone in on you, zone in on other things that make you happy instead of the things that you use as a coping mechanism. I have friends who are cosplayers who are just like, they don't necessarily know what it is specifically that keeps them happy or keeps them mentally in check without anime conventions. They'll hide away, like they use the conventions and stuff as a getaway. But now that the conventions and stuff are gone, like what getaway do they have? I've had friends who would cry to me and just be like, I don't really know what else to do because conventions were keeping my depression and stuff at bay. Like these things are serious. Like these are some real like heavy things that people were telling me, and it's sad, And it made me wonder like how many other people in the cosplay community, with everything else that they're doing, how many other people are really having these conversations behind closed doors or really crying to their friends like conventions are gone. What should I do, friend? You know. So my advice to my friends who were sad about the lack of conventions and everything, this was like during the beginning of the pandemic when everything was not open, when everything was kind of like just in shambles, when the whole entire United States was just like nobody moved. I usually would just recommend them like either going on hikes and stuff if they have the transportation to do so. When you go on hikes, like it helps clear your mind. I did that a lot during the beginning of the pandemic. I kind of fell off a little bit, but that's because I ended up getting a job and prayerfully survived most of the pandemic and stuff. But taking hikes are really good ways to get your mind at bay and stay at peace. If you're a person who loves photography and hiking is a good socially distanced thing to help you with your mental health. Other people started meditating. I started meditating and everything when it came to getting myself mentally together because I didn't have conventions and stuff to keep me happy. Um, I also the way that I unwind, like sometimes I really just sit down all day and watch anime. Like your way of balancing your mental health is how whatever makes you happy, as long as it's something healthy, you know, or your way of being healthy. Um, I know that probably sounds a little screwed up, but I can't. When I'm able to find a word to match that specifically, I'll definitely like touch on that a little bit better. But yeah, just you have to find other things that make you happy outside of your cosplay thing because it's like okay, cosplay we're not at conventions anymore, so now what do you do? You know, I it took me a minute to find my niche, like to get back and do what I have to do. Like now I'm in a very good place of balancing my content and my mental health. I don't make excuses for myself. If I'm not okay to make content, I'll be like, man, I'll do that tomorrow. I'm gonna go on a walk. I'm gonna probably go to work today. I'll probably drink me a little drinky drink, sippy sip of wine, like something for me to unwind, something for me to really just be like, and then tomorrow I'll be productive. I don't be hard on myself with that anymore because it's one of those things where it's just like I can't make content if I'm not happy. I can't make content if I'm personally not good, like outside of all the other factors and stuff, you know? Um, so just a bit of a checklist of things that I do before I make my content. So today, for example, I'm not in cosplay. I wanted to be in cosplay for this panel, but then also I ran out of time. I had to run errands and stuff today. I just got a new car, so I had to run around and do that. I had to go to the grocery store. I was in traffic, like just all those different external factors. Am I mad that I couldn't cosplay on this panel? Absolutely not, because the message will always still be the same, and there are people who still will listen to whatever I have to say and still take the message for face value. But I'm bringing that up because of the fact that it's like any other day, me months ago, I think I would have been upset that I didn't have enough time to jump into cosplay, like, oh my God, like, and being super hard on myself. Um, and I was doing that a lot too, like even with anything dealing with like an Instagram live story, Facebook live story, Facebook live videos, even like with linking with friends and stuff, doing Instagram lives, or just talking to other people and anything in regards to a virtual cosplay, anything, I would really down myself if I couldn't get into cosplay. And that's kind of unfair to myself because it's like, if you don't feel like it, you don't feel like it. And that's perfectly fine. So I think nowadays when it comes to cosplay, like people take it very, very, very seriously to the point where they burn themselves out so fast instead of making it something fun. The reason why I wanted to touch on this topic was because of the fact that I felt like if I just spoke my truths and spoke about content creation and balancing mental health, like coming from me and using my platform to speak about it because not enough people are talking about it, then it would hit a little bit differently. So um my I realized that my content took a huge turn the minute that I realized what makes me happy about making my content and stuff. Like I started doing daily affirmations. I don't have my journal and stuff in front of me right now. I'm so like all disorganized, so bear with me. But when I'm at work, I write affirmations about my social media page or about myself as a social media influencer, cosplayer, artist, whatever you want to call it. And some of my affirmations go from people enjoy watching my content because they like what I do. People enjoy my content because they think that I am cool or they think that I am great. Affirmations don't always have to be so deep and so like, well, the goddesses of the universe think that I'm so amazing and the energy and universe. You don't have to do all that. Affirmations just really are affirming and pressing into your spirit that no matter what happens, no matter how bad things go, no matter whether it goes left or right, you're still who you are. People still appreciate you for you, whether you're a content creator or whether you're like whether it's outside of consecration or like you as a person. Oh, my hand is I might get some money. Ooh. So yeah, I write daily affirmations when it comes to my content. I realized once I started writing affirmations, at first I don't think I was doing it right because I was saying I don't really feel anything. But after I kept going, I really would just speak the words over and over as I'm writing the affirmations. I was saying them out loud. Sometimes, like when I'm getting ready for work in the morning, I'll be brushing my teeth and I'll think about it. I won't necessarily say it out loud, but it'll just be like a mantra, a repeated mantra that's playing over and over and over and over in my head as I'm on my way to work or something. You know, on the days that I'm not even making content. And then when it's time for me to make content, then I get that bug and my spirit is like, oh, time for content. Like, ooh, I'm excited about doing it because I affirmed in myself as a person outside of all that. I'm great. My stuff is going to be successful because I'm having fun with it. The right person is going to see my content, whether the video or whatever I post only gets one like or two views on it. You know, I just started believing in my work. Like I believed in myself, and I believe that since I believed in myself, I believe that my work is going to exude what it is that I believe in myself. You know, so one other message that I do want to get across today, and if I'm all over the place, like please let me know, like in the comments and everything. Just please let me know, like, oh my god, I I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and she had a bit of a dilemma in regards to her content. I'm not saying this to put her on blast or anything. I asked if it was okay for me to talk about. She said it was fine. I'm not going to name drop or anything, but she felt a little discouraged about her content because she felt like she didn't know who her audience was. She felt like the numbers really do matter. She felt like, oh, if I can't do this, I have to work a 9 to 5 like my whole life. Like oh my God. And she was so stressed. And I had to reel her back in a bit and remind her that when you start making your content and stuff for you, all the other things that you're worried about start to flow. And she was like, well, no, the numbers and stuff do matter. I said, eventually they will, but you matter first. When it comes to you making your content, you can't create content if you're not 100% you, or if you don't know yourself, or if you don't love yourself enough, or if you don't really zone in and figure out who you are. Because one thing that social media does is put a very horrible expectation on how many likes you should get, how many views and stuff that you should get, or just all of the horrible negatives of social media start to pile and pile and pile up. because people have feel like they have it's a race. It's a race to get a part of the algorithm. It's a race to do that instead of just really taking it for face value. Like if you love yourself and you love making your content, all those other things will follow. And that's what I had to realize with myself. Like it's easier said than done. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people probably don't agree with me saying that because it's just like, wow, and that's fine. But me personally, I feel like if you have fun with just making content, all the other successful things will come your way. All the other things that you do will come your way. Like it's okay to work hard for what you're doing, but you have to have fun with it too. Like I know that there are times where I look on social media and I see content creators who work so hard that they forget to have fun, and then it reflects in their content. Like you're not okay. Like this smile that I see, like in your eyes you look sad, like in your eyes you look angry, in your eyes like you look like you're not even here or a parent because you're just doing this just because. Like no, if you genuinely love making content, it should just be about that. If one of your videos and stuff flop, it flops. It doesn't always have to be about the algorithm screwing you over. Like sometimes we just throw stuff that just isn't successful, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that the next video that you post, or the next post that you put up, or the next Instagram live or podcast, whatever else that you upload, that doesn't mean all those things aren't going to be successful the next day. It might be super. It might be twice as successful the next day. But people shortchange themselves because then they get discouraged and like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Like that's it, and it shouldn't be like that, you know. So with my conversation with my friend yesterday, I really just had to reiterate like, why do you make content? What's your end game? Like, I had to kind of help her structure all these things. Like, if you are doing this for a business or at the end of the day, set your foundation for it first. Go into it not thinking that everything is a competition. Go into it like, man, my stuff is dope. Like, it's going to hit the right person. Like, start salvaging the positivity from the negative stuff that you probably think sometimes, or the I forgot what word I want to use. When you get those negative thoughts, or you have to challenge your way of thinking and all that too, so that way you can have a solid foundation. So that way, if something does flop, you don't try to quit and stop doing content. And if it is a business thing that you're trying to do with your content, then that's a whole different story. But the structure needs to be there. And if it is business, it should just be business. Like have all your stuff in line. Um, but yes, being a Black content creator is a whole different story though. And it's harder, I guess, for us to balance like our mental health, because no matter what, we're not accepted in any kind of community. Black content creators, we be on TikTok, we get attacked on TikTok, we on Facebook, we get attacked on Facebook. It's really crazy. In the gaming community, racism, discrimination, all those things, especially in the cosplay community. So these are different things that we experience in a space where we're supposed to be able to take a breather and take a break. And then the stuff that we experience in the outside world is a trickling into those safe spaces and all that. So part of the balancing content creation and mental health that falls into that specific topic is making more communities that cater to us, making more safe spaces for us as Black content creators. I'm in so many different Facebook groups when, um, uh, like just like for example, I'm in like several Black Day Facebook groups, and it's very positive though. It's like people are talking about Black Day, which is May 8th, but then they're also talking about other things and like just sharing beautiful pictures like, oh, look at this aesthetic, look at this and look at that. I'm in another Facebook group that is about uplifting people and helping them build their resumes and everything, and just really, structuring and doing stuff like that. Those are also good ways to take care of your mental health, because you're in a space where people can help you, uplift you, structure whatever you need to do. Like, there's not just one way to have your mental health and stuff in check. You don't always have to go to therapy to fix your mental health sometimes. It's good because therapy does help you become your own friend. It does help you challenge your own thinking when you do have those bad thoughts or sabotaging thoughts, or just the energies and stuff of a bad mental health day, that go along with it. But there are different ways for you to help with your mental health. Um, There are different activities. Like the social media, as trash as social media can be sometimes, it's also very resourceful. You just have to look for these things. You have to go into different places, spaces to figure out exactly what helps you balance your own mental health, you know? So I think a key point that I hit earlier, if I'm going in circles, please tell me. A few other, a few, the English, I speak it. The topic I was thinking about in my head, like, Lord have mercy. I'm sorry, y'all. I just really lost my train of thought, and that's horrible. Anyway, so back to some of my personal story in regards to how my mental health and stuff goes. I took a long social media hiatus. This is also going to be a helping point for those who are trying to balance their mental health and also still be able to deal with their content. I don't think that a lot of content creators take breaks enough, you know, for those who ended up making content creation as a business, as a hustle and everything. And that's another topic as well. Like it's another point I want to make out of that. It's just like when you have to know when it's okay for you to take a break. When are you at your breaking point? When you start feeling yourself getting burnt out and you start having those self sabotaging thoughts, like those are red flags for you. Not red flags, but those are just, you know, I guess key points, or those are. I'm losing my train of thought. I cannot get my words together today. Wow, and it's a Monday. That's probably why. Um, those are just pointers. I would say those are pointers for you to take a step back. Just knowing, like when you're burnt out, setting your own personal boundary for yourself. Like, okay, like my content is not going to look good this week because I'm stressed about work. I'm stressed about this. I'm stressed about that. Take a step back. Like, really, just take a step back. The minute your spirit feel weird and you feel like I'm not feeling my content and stuff today, take a step back. And if it keeps happening over the span of a few days or to a few weeks, definitely take a step back. Like really just don't like just take a break from social media because like I said, as resourceful as it can be, sometimes it's also damaging because oftentimes we find ourselves like, how are they so successful? How are they still pushing out content with all this stuff going on in the world? Why can't I do that? Self-sabotaging thoughts start coming in. It's just you start loathing yourself. You shouldn't do that to yourself. Um, so just knowing when to take a step back. Like you won't know when to take a step back until you know when to take a step back. Like we feel it all the time. We ignore that feeling because it's like I gotta do this. I have to do this. It's like you don't have to. You want to because you feel like you're gonna miss out on something, but you have plenty of other opportunities to get all the stuff like out and about and do what you have to do. So knowing when to take a step back, that's another thing. You have to train yourself in that regard. Me, when I first felt like I had to take a step back, I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm never gonna make content again. Like, what the heck? Ugh. But I was just like, I have to take this break, or else I'm really not gonna be okay, and I'm gonna start hating cosplay, and I'm gonna stop, like I do with any and everything else that I do in my life. Sometimes, wow, that sounded dark. But when I took my break, my hiatus from cosplay lasted, I believe, for like 4 to 6 months during the course of the pandemic, and even a little bit before the pandemic even happened. I wasn't I wasn't really making content, but I solidified that I'm not making content like once the pandemic really happened because I was like, this is very taxing. It's the only time I'm gonna get to unwind and really revamp my whole entire thing. Like, and on top of that, also I forgot to mention earlier, I had COVID last year. So I really was just like, oh my God, like I was sick for like a month, almost 2 months. And that hurt me even further because I was like, I can make content. And then I got sick and I was like, oh no. And then when I recovered from COVID, I tried to make content and I was like, oh, I can't. Like, I had no stamina. I don't know why I kept pushing to do it. When my spirit was just like, girl, take a break. Like, go to sleep, take a break, like, take your time. If you need to rest for 2 days, take a rest for 2 days, but then come out it being stronger than ever. Like, give your time to breathe. So when I went on my hiatus, I was left with my thoughts. I was left with those sabotaging thoughts of like, oh, I'm a failure. See, I can't even do social media right. Like, who gets social media wrong? What the heck? Oh my God. And I almost deleted my cosplay Instagram and my Facebook because I was loathing the fact that I couldn't be strong enough to keep on going with it, instead of thinking of more on a healthier note of, you can't make social media if you're not mentally healthy. Like, I mean, you can't make content if you're not mentally okay. Like, and that's fine. Those 4 to 6 months were probably the longest months that I experienced without making content, but I realized how damaging social media was on my spirit too. I was making my content for the wrong reasons. Like, I legit was like, I'm gonna post this content and I'm gonna get 100,000 followers and I'm gonna be rich. And it was just, my expectations were just so unrealistic. And I kept looking, like I kept leaping forward, like, to the big, 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 big end goals instead of pacing myself. And that's another tip that people should take into account and into consideration when you are balancing your social media and your mental health. You have to take every day, like day by day, and learn your audience, learn yourself. Screw learning your audience, like, rewind. Learn yourself first. When you're pacing yourself, really sit down and learn yourself and love yourself, uplift yourself, enrich in yourself first. All, like I said, all the other things after that will come to you. Everything else will work out for you. So my 4 to 6 month hiatus, I would say, was the most successful hiatus I've ever taken, because I had no obligations whatsoever. I didn't have the weight of social media over my head. Like, you don't post anything, the algorithm isn't going to bang with you. Like, I've seen people who went on hiatuses and they came back and I'm deleting this page, I'm making a new one because the algorithm is not supporting me. And I'm not knocking them, but I told myself, I was like, I didn't want to delete my social media and start over. I didn't want to make a new page and stuff just because of the algorithm. I wanted to beat the algorithm. And I wanted to challenge myself into having better thinking and being like, my social media is dope. Like, even with me having a hiatus, I'm gonna hit my goal. Um, Before I took my hiatus, I believe I was around, I say, like 14,000 to 15,000 people who were following me on Instagram at the time. And after I came back from my hiatus, I was down to like 13,000. So I was like, wow. I was like, everybody was like, really, like, she ain't making no more content. We out. I was like, dang, like, everybody really like left my stuff because I wanted to go like make sure that I was mentally okay. And I just stopped myself. I was like, it's fine, because what I lose, I could gain twice as hard. So what I ended up doing was pacing myself with my social media. I was like, I'm gonna see how I feel this week. I'm gonna see how many times I want to make my content. So I started making posts and stuff daily, whether it was me in a cosplay, whether it was me talking about a new cosplay that I wanted to do, whether it was like just old stuff. I just started posting like, okay, let's work with these hashtags. But then after a while, I was like, I'm gonna just dive right into it. I'm a risk taker. So, you don't have to do what I did, but this is just me explaining my story. I jumped in it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy like these 5 of these cosplays and stuff for my stimulus. This is when the first, so the second, I think the second stimulus came out. I bought like 5 to 6 cosplays. And then when they all came in, I just started doing all of them. Some of the hashtags and stuff that I used didn't even help me boost my numbers and stuff on Instagram. It just started working because I was like, dang, I look good in this costume. Let me throw this out on there. Like, and I just started gassing myself up. I started uplifting myself before I even was focused on the cosplay. I was like, oh, I gotta make TikTok. Oops. But I genuinely just started having fun with it. I was like, wow, my makeup looks really good. I started giving compliments to myself internally. Like, this looks really good. My wig came out perfect. My makeup looks amazing. Like, I don't care who sees this. Like, I look good doing this. When I came back from my hiatus, I did Pito from Hunter x Hunter. I did selfies as Pito, and the post got like 2,000 likes. And y'all, like I said, this is me on a hiatus, and I wasn't even at 20K yet. And it kept ever since I started having fun with my content, everything else started coming like forward. All the other stuff started coming. Funimation followed me afterwards. I didn't expect that. The voice actor Yuji follows my TikTok. Like, and we're like best of friendos. Like, it's cool. Like having a good old time. It just the stuff just started coming. Like once I started having fun, everything else started coming along with it. So I say this to say before you do social media and feel like, oh, I'm not good at this or I suck, like find out like what makes you happy first. And when you start posting about the things that make you happy, then it makes other people happy. Like when you start stressing about your social media, then other people start stressing about it. Like if you're confident in what you do, if you're confident in yourself, if you're confident in your work, other people be confident. It's really what you do, the energy that you give out when you're making your content, when you're talking to people. This even outside content creation, your interactions with people, your energy like everybody can read your energy. Everybody can see it, you know, from way across the room. So I just say this to say, take your time with your content. If you feel yourself starting to do that thing where you're like racing against the algorithm and stuff, take a step back. That stuff is stressful. The algorithm is always going to change. It's never going to not change. I think the only platform that works a little bit calmer and a little bit easier to go viral is TikTok because they have every audience known to man on TikTok. So it's really also about the platform that you use. If Instagram is too taxing, okay, get off Instagram then. Go somewhere else and do something else. Go find a way to navigate through all those things without feeling like you have to be burnt out all the time. You know? But do it for you. Make your content because you think your content is dope. Like make it because you know that you're amazing. Like really, like just do it because you're good at what you do and can't nobody do it better than you. But on a more serious note, I know that mental health affects other people differently. There are people who have several, you know, levels or on different levels when it comes to mental health or mental illness. Um, I know a few friends of mine, they have either bipolar disorder, bipolar depression disorder, they have anxiety, they have depression, they have the depression spells and everything. And it's hard to navigate through a depression spell and being a content creator. I have it all the time. I'm also currently doing therapy. I've been doing therapy since I believe September of 2020. And I thank the Lord for that because it made me face all my demons, especially in the midst of a pandemic, and I didn't have those outside influences or anything. And I was like, I have my depression spells. I don't really have good coping mechanisms. Like I had to ask my therapist, like, how do I navigate this? How do I do this and that? And then after a while, she would, after she gives me some good coping mechanisms, she just asks me like, what do I want to do? Like, what do I feel like doing? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I don't feel like doing anything today. And my therapist never like crapped on me because of it. Depression spells are very hard to come out of. But if you have to rest, if you have to really just, I don't want to talk to anybody, turn into a hermit, do that. But then also just know that hopefully, and I hope this applies for a lot of people who are listening to this, you have people who support you and stand behind you, depression spells or not. And if you don't have somebody that can at least check in on you or that can interact with you or someone you don't feel like you're going to end up pushing away when you do have your depression spells and everything, there are different videos on the internet that gives you coping mechanisms or even breathing exercises. My therapist recommended me, I forgot the website. I wish I had the screenshot of it in my phone so I could share it, but she recommended breathing exercises for me, like this one. When I get anxious or when I feel like I have to breathe, when I have a panic attack, I do this because the nerves right here in your body are directly linked to stress. It's kind of like acupuncture therapy, something around along those lines. I literally do this probably like 3 times a day when I feel overwhelmed. Just now, when I was in the kitchen cooking my food, I kept dropping things on the floor and I was getting frustrated and I get mad very easily. And just breathe. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. Um, so yes, sorry. I know I just went all 10 different places. I really thank you guys for bearing with me because I'm a very disorganized person when it comes to my thoughts and everything. But that is who I am, and I'm not mad at myself for it. But um, yeah. So just know that there are different ways around it. They're not going to always be easy though, and that's another thing too. Like when it comes to mental health, and when it comes to trying to figure that whole thing out, it's an ugly process. It's a very crappy journey and everything. Trying to venture into like who you are, or like what helps you like through those things. So it's just taking that step to that journey is the hardest part, and going through the journey is the second hardest part. But it's kind of like surgery. It kind of cuts you open a little bit, exposes it, go in and fix the problem, and you heal after that. So I say this to say, like, take your time with yourself. Like, for you, do for you first. Literally, just do for you first. And if other people don't understand that, that's always going to be a thing. Everybody's not always going to understand you. Everybody's not always going to understand why your brain works the way that it does, or why, you know, you have your mental health days in the way that you do. But it's not really for you to have to explain to everybody. It's really for you to figure out for yourself and do for yourself. So, um, sorry, I'm looking at the comments because I can't see it on here. Sorry. Oh, do the work. Do the work. It pays off. Yep, do the work. It pays off. It's it hurts. Like doing the work hurts, but it does pay off. You have to figure it out for how it works for you, for yourself. Um, so I have at least 15 minutes left on this panel. I'm reading the comments and everything right now. So if you have any questions, comments, or any topics that you do want me to touch bases with before, up until it's time for me to end this panel, feel free to tune in. If there's a topic that I missed, like please feel free to bring it up because the way that my mind is all over the place today. That's just me though. I'm a all over the place kind of person. So I really hope that the message like conveyed in the way that it was supposed to and what it was giving. Um, love the positive energy. Thank you. Hashtag self care. Absolutely. Oh, look, not a problem. Not a problem. Like I I personally wanted to do this panel in regards to mental health and all the other things that were going on for me because of the fact that it's like I talk about Black issues a lot on my page, and I also realize and recognize like how taxing that also can be on myself, or how taxing it could just be in general because my life as a Black woman and the experiences that I have like tie into anything dealing with mental health, anything dealing with what I'm trying to do. And so I just wanted to bring this topic up and kind of just to see where everybody else's heads are at, to see if everybody else is okay mentally as well, and to see if there are others who can relate to me in regards to trying to find that balance when it comes to being a content creator and also still keeping yourself sane, you know. Um, in all truth, it's gonna be hard, like because since the algorithm is always gonna change, and since social media is always gonna change, you're gonna develop changes and stuff too. But as the changes start to develop and everything, just make sure you're putting yourself first at all times. Really, just make sure you're putting yourself first. Make sure that you are giving your time, you're giving yourself time to heal. Like really put yourself first. No one really should have control over that or how you navigate your mental health. No one should have control over that except for you. And if you find yourself not having a good support group that understands that you need a better support group, like and this is kind of off topic, but on topic. And well, actually, no, it is on topic in regards to the whole balance thing. So, my friends, I have very wonderful friends. I have a very wonderful partner who also understands this as well. I have a very good family who understands the topic that I'm speaking about right now. And I remember when I came forward and was like, I'm not mentally doing okay. Like, I have to take a step back and just breathe. And I'm doing this for me. It was like I wasn't telling them this because I felt like I had to explain to them or I owed them an explanation. But out of respect for myself and out of respect for them, I was like, I had to take a step back from everybody. Like, and while I take a step back, none of this has anything to do with you. It has everything to do with me. And I was just so thankful that I had a friend group or a partner or a family that supported that decision. And they kind of just let me rock how I rock because I never got the chance to sit down and focus on myself and really get everything all together. So um, that also helps. I really hope that those who are tuning into this topic and listening to what I'm saying, like I really hope that you also have a good support group that understands when you need to take a step back and understands you don't always have to explain when you have to take a step back, but they care enough about you to reach out and see like how you're doing or to check in on you at least like, hey, love you, and give you that positive push because it gets hard. And there are times where we can't always do all these things alone. And if you need help, it's always okay to ask for help as well too. Like like I said before when I first started the panel, even though it was all over the place. This is a conversation that should be had amongst friend groups and everything too, because that's another thing. When it comes to this social media thing, we make friendships and connections with people based off of social media. You know, what we see on social media and everything, and it's like we relate on the positive aspects of it, but we also relate on the inside aspects or pieces that we don't necessarily talk about. Like I remember when I brought up this topic to my group of friends, and they were like, me too. Like I haven't been doing okay for a minute, and I also have to take a social media hiatus. Like I'm glad that you talked about this. But I thought I was the only one who felt it. You never really know like how another person is feeling unless you really talk about it. So I say this to encourage conversations amongst your personal friend groups or amongst other people that you are close to or can identify with when it comes to the mental health aspect for content creation. Um, so sorry, I'm thank you, Miss Ellis. Yes. Sorry, I have to say Miss Ellis because this was one of my favorite teachers in high school. Sorry, off topic. And I didn't know that she was on here watching this. Like that just means so much. She was such a wonderful lady, so sweet. To this day, a lot of the things that I learned in her class, I still think about. I really do, and it's definitely helped me with a lot of stuff that I'm going through in life. But anywho, we have a few minutes left, and everything. Oh no! Please don't cry. If you cry, look here. I'll give you some tissue. I don't have tissue, but don't cry. um. So yeah, I see. I think I went over every topic on this. Sorry, I'm looking through my notes, and my computer is also very old, so it won't pop up. But I guess to kind of in the panel, I'm supposed to be going on to 9, but like I think I'm finishing up with this and everything now. Remember to put yourself first at the end of the day. Don't let social media dictate your happiness, how you find it, how you establish it. Don't be influenced by social media to make decisions that can further affect your mental health, if that makes any sense. Um, Another thing, whoa, off topic again. Sorry. Social media also paints this perception that everybody is happy and everybody's living a really good life too. And the more I talk to more people, the more I collaborate with other people, I realize like everybody is stressed and everybody really be going through it. And they don't talk about it. Their social media doesn't is not going to show that because social media is supposed to give this perceptive reality like, oh, look at me, I'm a rich girl. Deep down inside, I don't really have any money. I'm just standing in front of the Gucci store because, ooh. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either. But you don't know what the person's going through, like behind their screen on social media. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody is going through a rough patch, whether it's an ongoing thing or it happens every now and then. It is going to keep on popping up, and that's okay too. But do not compare yourself based upon what you see on social media because social media be lying. Like social media really be lying. So don't be so hard on yourself. Really do not be so hard on yourself. Like take your time, love yourself, provide your personal foundation of love, and then tackle social media head on. Because like I said, all the other things will flow. When you know yourself and you jump on the social media thing and people see that you know yourself, like you know a person that you follow who knows themselves and they are genuinely having a good time and they're very transparent, you know, about what they're going through and they post a lot about any and everything. Like pro- create your foundation of happiness for yourself, create your personal boundaries for your mental health. Do all of those things for yourself first, then jump on social media and do what you have to do. Your social media page, your content creator thing is you. That is for you, yourself. Your people like social media just giving people an inside perspective of who you are. So if you do this false thing of happiness or just, not being real with it, with your content and stuff, people are going to take and gobble that up, and then you feel like people don't understand you because they're not being real with yourself. So be real with yourself before you jump on social media. Because when you're real with yourself before you go through that, can't nothing affect you, can't nothing hurt you, and you won't feel so inclined to take a huge long hiatus like how I did. I didn't know myself like I thought I did until I took that hiatus. And now when I'm on here, I'm just like, wow. I'm looking back at some of my old content, like, oh wow, I was so numb when I made that, but now I'm looking back, I have this newfound love for myself. That's another good tip to do too. After you take your hiatus, look back at your content. You'll learn a lot about yourself. When you take a step back, you come back, you look at all those older posts and everything, it'll all make sense. So that's another tip. And I believe last but not least, um, dang, I keep having a brain fart. Y'all, like, I'm sorry. It is a Monday night. I thought I'm having a brain fart. Um, there was one other topic, and I really like hating myself right now because I cannot remember. I really think I touched on everything. If I didn't touch on any and everything, y'all got like a minute and a half to like tell me before this is. Uh, oh, got it, got it. Do the work. Hard work always pays off. I don't care what anybody says. Like there are people out here who don't even who have not reached the threshold of 1,000 supporters on their page or following them, and the right person always sees their stuff. Like really, just don't be worried about who see your stuff. The right person is going to see it. If that is what you're worried about, the right person is going to end up seeing it because you were just that dope. Like really, just make the content. Make the content. And that is for people who aren't confident in their work and everything. After you've had your time to reflect for yourself, you still feel that way. Like that's another fight. I don't even think I have enough time to explain that one. Yeah, I don't. But for those who this applies to, if you're worried about your content flopping and everything, and it's not going to be as successful as you want it to be, make it anyway. Do the thing. Really do the thing. Join some really good support groups on Facebook. Join some really good Instagram groups as well. Twitter now allows you to be a part of groups and everything too, or people group you into a category. Now I don't know, but there are different ways to be in different spaces that can help boost your self esteem. Look on YouTube and look at some exercises that help you boost self esteem and everything too, self confidence. But make the content, post the content. The video that you're worried about on TikTok, if you think isn't going to go viral, and you're like self sabotaging by not posting it or being hard on yourself because of it, post the thing. The right person will see it. The right person will see it. But post it because you want to, because you believe in it. Believe in yourself. Believe in everything else that deals with yourself, whether it's spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all those things. And all those things, all the other things that follow beneath that will be for you. And your good day is coming. With that being said, thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me today. Once again, my name is Black Crystal Cosplay, and see you all next time. Hope you have a wonderful Monday evening. Bye bye.
Hey, little sis, before you drop off, I wanted to
Yes.
tell you I'm so proud of you right now
Thank you so much.
because I'm seeing the growth from the last time I saw you
Hmm.
before, before COVID hit us. I'm seeing a lot of growth in you. So I wanted to say before we got off, before you dropped off for your panel, that I'm so proud of you right now.
Oh, don't make don't make me
Yeah,
cry. Like
I was gonna wait until after I took you off your live, but I was like, nah, this is something that needs to be said while you're still on your live, so that folks can see that yeah, you are being recognized for the growth that you just spoke of. This past
thank
hour,
you so much.
you spoke everything that you spoke of showed your growth and your walk. So I'm so proud of you right now.
That means so much to me, and I really appreciate it. And it means a lot coming from you because you're
Mhm.
pops and your words carry a lot of weight. Like for me, because I do admire you and I look up to you and the things that you post on your page as well, and just your wisdom and knowledge that you share with other people. And just the
Uh,
fact that you recognize me and you be watching me and I don't be knowing like that means a lot.
Someone I do that with so many others, and they just don't realize it, that they actually have me and quite a few others looking out for them.
Right.
So,
I
but in
really
this instant,
appreciate it.
this is about you. And like I said, I am so proud of you right now.
Ah,
So next time we
I
see each other,
appreciate
I'm probably gonna hug the hell out of
it. Definitely. I owe you
you.
the biggest bear hug. Yes, I do.
Yes, indeed. So with
Yes.
that, folks, HBCU Con is done for the night. This is our last panel for the night. But come back with us tomorrow because tomorrow we start back off with the Women in Sci-Fi, Women of Color in Sci-Fi panel part 2. So they had a little bit more to talk about. So we'll be back with them tomorrow. So see you tomorrow at 6. But for now, good night. Have a good time this evening. Be safe and all that other good jazz. Black Crystal, I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Yay, we did it. We did it.